The sun over Dry Creek Valley was brutal, a white-hot coin pinned to the sky. For 15 years, Elijah Brooks worked the soil of his family's land, a stretch of rolling fields first purchased by his great-grandfather after the Civil War. It wasn't just a farm. It was history, proof that generations of black farmers could survive and thrive against every obstacle. But in a single council meeting, men who had never stepped onto his property tried to erase that legacy. "Request for water allocation denied," the chairman announced, barely glancing at Elijah. One sentence, delivered with the casual cruelty of someone tossing scraps to a stray dog. The room chuckled. "Can't expect special treatment," muttered Councilman Dale Carver, heir to the largest almond orchard in the county. Special treatment? Elijah had only asked for what was legally his, the right to draw irrigation water from the valley reservoir, the same right every white farmer around him enjoyed without question. Outside, neighbors whispered. "That land won't last a season without water," one said. "Better start packing," another snickered. Elijah didn't flinch. He had inherited more than land. He had inherited grit. For 2 years, he fought every legal angle, filing appeals, gathering documents proving the water board's discrimination. Each time, the council used new bureaucratic tricks to block him. By the third summer, the Brooks farm should have been dust. Instead, Elijah dug his own wells, installed drip systems, and studied regenerative methods that coaxed life from even the stingiest soil. He rotated drought-tolerant crops, traded equipment for rain-catch barrels, and worked by lantern light long after his neighbors slept. "Why keep going?" his sister Maya asked one blistering night. "Because quitting is exactly what they're counting on," he replied. Then came the drought, not a dry season, a once-in-a-century catastrophe. The valley reservoir dropped to a cracked crater. Carver's lush orchards withered, their high-water almonds shriveling on the branch. Wells across the county coughed air, except on Elijah's farm. Satellite images stunned the local news, a patch of emerald in a sea of brown. Reporters swarmed the Brooks property, cameras capturing fields of sorghum and millet waving beneath a punishing sun. "How?" they demanded. Elijah only smiled. Years of quiet preparation had become his shield. At the next emergency council meeting, panic replaced arrogance. Carver and the other large landowners pleaded for a water-sharing plan. Town businesses were collapsing, families were fleeing. "We need access to your wells, Brooks," Carver finally said, the words like gravel in his mouth. Elijah rose slowly, the room silent except for the creak of old floorboards. "3 years ago," he said evenly, "I asked for equal rights to this valley's water. You laughed. You denied me because of my name, my skin, and my history. Tonight, you ask me for mercy." Murmurs rippled through the crowd. Carver tried to smile, oily and insincere. "We were following procedure." "Procedure," Elijah cut in, "is not an excuse for injustice." What the council didn't know. While they mocked him, Elijah had been gathering more than rainwater. He'd collected records, emails between council members joking about keeping the Brooks boy in his place, bank statements of illegal water trades, and drone footage of Carver's nighttime siphoning. Maya entered carrying a binder thick with evidence. "We've already sent copies to the State Water Commission and 3 investigative journalists," she announced. Carver's face blanched. "You wouldn't dare." "We already did," Elijah said. The state's intervention was swift. Within a month, the entire county's water board was dissolved. Criminal charges for fraud and discrimination loomed over Carver and his allies. But Elijah wasn't done. Instead of hoarding his advantage, he invited struggling small farmers, of every background, to a meeting under the big pecan tree his great-grandfather had planted. "We share," he told them, "but on new terms, equal rights, written into a cooperative charter so no family can ever be shut out again." They signed that night, by lantern light, forming the Dry Creek Water Cooperative with Elijah as chair. By autumn, Headlines across the state read, "Farmer once denied water, now leads regional recovery." Reporters described how his regenerative techniques saved not only his own land but dozens of neighboring farms. Environmental scientists hailed him as a pioneer of climate-resilient agriculture. At a public hearing broadcast live, the governor himself presented Elijah with a proclamation recognizing the Brooks farm as a model of justice and sustainability. Carver, awaiting trial for corruption, watched from the back of the courtroom. The same man who once smirked at Elijah's petitions now avoided his gaze, shoulders hunched like a beaten dog. Months later, a gentle rain finally returned to Dry Creek Valley. Elijah stood at the edge of the reservoir, water rippling at his boots, remembering his grandfather's words. "Land remembers who cares for it." Maya joined him, handing over a letter. It was from Carver, written on prison stationery. "I know I can't undo the harm," the letter read, "but I see now that prejudice dried up more than our fields. It dried up our humanity. I hope one day this valley learns from you." Elijah folded the paper without comment. Forgiveness, he knew, was a harvest that took its own time. Today, the Brooks Farm Cooperative feeds half the region and trains young farmers, Black, Latino, white, on water-wise methods that defy drought and bigotry alike. When asked by a journalist what victory tastes like, Elijah didn't mention profit or headlines. "Justice," he said, "tastes like clean water shared by every neighbor who once turned me away." If this story of resilience moved you, subscribe for more powerful tales of justice and redemption, because sometimes the land itself remembers who truly belongs.